There goes that man's jockstrap.
Oh my God, did you see that?
America's team? Yeah, right.
Oh, baby, it's a big day in sports. There's nothing like battling it out with your teammates all season long to go win a championship. Green Bay's got it this year. Huge move for them. I think it's going to be a game changer.
We have a lot to talk about this busy week in the sports world. Welcome to the In a League of Their Own podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's show. Before we jump into things here for today, just a quick announcement as far as kind of how we're going to be doing things going forward, at least for the time being, to test out some new things. Got some feedback from some of you guys as well on some of our other platforms as far as what you guys are looking for, what you guys like to see. So obviously, tailoring to the audience is always a good thing. So going forward, to kind of make our episodes shorter and give you guys a chance to listen to specific sports and headlines that you're interested about, we're going to be posting our NFL, NBA, NHL, PGA, and college as their own separate segments. So 10 to 30 minutes a piece, you guys will be able to listen to any headlines, kind of get our predictions, hot takes, things like that. So yeah, starting out with the NFL here. But if you guys want to, go check out our other segments if you want to listen to those as well. But yeah, we're going to be testing this out for a while here to kind of see what you guys think about it. And a couple weeks on the road, we'll see how it's doing. So starting out here with our NFL talk then. Kind of one of the headlines this week, and really when you get to this point of the season, is the interviews all across the board for different head coaching positions, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, things like that. Three names that are kind of, circulating, seem like they have a good chance of getting a position is defensive coordinator for the Bucs, Todd Boyles, defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, Eric Bieniemy, and then offensive coordinator for the Packers, Nathaniel Hackett. All these guys still have games to prepare for this week. I saw that Todd Boyles has 3 interviews this week before their matchup on Sunday for the Rams.
And Byron Leftwich as well.
Yeah. And do you think, like, the NFL needs to shut down these interviews with current coaches who are in the playoffs until after the Super Bowl? Like, do you think this could be too much of a distraction for some of these guys?
I personally don't, because all it is just Zoom meetings. It's just a Zoom interview. It's not like they're actually flying up to these places and doing in-person interviews. That all that stuff, in-person contact, has to wait till the season's over. So I don't feel it's really, like, obviously all these people are people and they have to be in charge of their own careers as well, and not, all right, we're gonna hope that we get to a Super Bowl. All right, we don't get to. Job's already been filled, bud. Sorry. Don't know where you're going to go. You're just going to be not a coach this year. Like, they have to look out for themselves first, I feel like. And obviously all these guys are on great teams. The NFL just opened that actually up to this season as far as allowing interviews the last 2 weeks of the season, starting earlier than the normal. Just, I feel like, speed up the processes. Is I feel like waiting too long, waiting like they used to, isn't enough time to really get these right people in these right positions, because there's so many organizations that so much turnover between the coaching staffs, GMs, blah blah blah, people in and out, and it's because they didn't have the time to find the right guy. Where if you start the process a little bit earlier and you're allowed to do these Zoom interviews to feel out, all right, you narrow it down to 3 people and have them all fly down and do face to face and see how it all is going to go. Like, I feel like it's a good, what they're doing is good, but yeah, obviously there always is speculation for not focusing enough on what your job is supposed to be because you're worried about an interview. It's like, there's always going to be speculation and shade thrown at that. Obviously, I don't feel like any of these people would put their team in this position, especially getting this far.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see, like you said, I agree with some of the points you said about the teams wanting to get ahead, make sure they have the right guy. But at the same time, I'm on that speculative side of like, yeah, they're just Zoom, but also your career, your next 5, 10 years or whatever is on the line. Like even if it is just Zoom, that's a high pressure situation. So the high pressure situation of making sure your guys are ready, preparing play calls for the team that you're playing, um, travel preparation in all other areas, and then on top of it, oh, you have a job interview that is going to determine the next X amount of years of your career. That's a lot of stress on some of these guys. And kind of two like dates to throw out there as far as not agreeing with doing interviews this early. The Super Bowl is February 13th. The NFL draft is April 28th. That's 2.5 months. That's more than enough time to hire, interview the people you need to, and time to prep for a draft so that you know who you want to go after based on who you're coaching, who your GM is, things like that. Like I see getting like ahead of the 8 ball to make sure that your team gets the guy that they want, but at the same time, like it's I still think it's early. And like I said, you have 2.5 months after the season ends before the next notable thing happens, which is the draft. I guess you could throw pro days into that, which is like a week or two before that, but still, like, I don't know. I think it's too early, and especially like the Nathaniel Hackett, Packers offensive coordinator, being in that mix. If he gets hired, and then the offense comes out and there's shitty, bad play calling and things like that, because people are going to speculate, oh, his head was in the clouds, he was distracted. Whether that's true or not, you can make a case that could be why. So like, I don't know. I guess we'll see how these guys adjust. If they come out look good, obviously it wasn't a distraction, but if that isn't the case and they do bad at their jobs, like you said, there's going to be the speculation on the other side, which I think I fall into that bucket more.
Well, and who's to say that they don't take the interview and be like, sorry, but now's not the right time to do it. We're going to do it later.
Yeah.
And that's their interview. Like, how do we know that that's not the case? And I guarantee you that they're doing all this stuff outside of the football facility that they're currently in. So what they do on their free time and personal time is up to them anyway. They're already doing what they want to do on their free time. I don't think it's going to affect their work.
Yeah.
Because I just look at some of these like Texans, Dolphins. There's a lot of buildings who are looking for GM and coaching change. That's a huge change. Like, that's almost like everybody in the building swapped over type of deal when you do that. And Broncos now selling their team. That's up in the air for who's going to take over ownership there. The Bears as well is also up for ownership. Like, I don't know. I feel like they're in this position. They're in the position for a reason, and they'd be stupid enough to not have the opportunity to move on. Because I always look at it from the positive side of things. You almost want coaches on your team being interviewed because then it shows how good of an organization you are. It just sucks for the players when you have good people, when you don't have the replacements in place when that type of shit does happen. That's the only time these organizations really get in trouble, is when you don't have the personnel ready. And that's why I feel like just opening it up just a little bit earlier, the 24 teams that are already sitting at home, I feel like they should already be focusing on next year and what they're going to do different as far as next season already. Players obviously get time off, but head coaches, all that shit, they don't.
Yeah. The way I view it too, just kind of putting it into perspective as far as just an everyday person like us, it's as if you're at your job. I'll just say manufacturing. You're on the floor doing your thing. A competitor across the street walks in and says, "Hey, I know you're busy right now, but you want to come by after work? Like, I'd like to talk to you about a position over there."
Absolutely.
Like if I'm the company that person's already working at, I'd be rattled. Like, your competitor walks in your door on your time.
Yeah, but they're not walking. They're not coming into their buildings.
No, I'm saying, but like that's how this would go. Like for a regular person like us, whether they're walking in, they're calling, like, because you're still on the clock. Like, Boyles is on the clock for the Bucks. Like they're paying his
Top Bulls.
paychecks. Yeah, and then like Bieniemy for the Chiefs, Hackett for the Packers. These guys are all on the clock for these teams, and yet other teams are looking for their attention, their time right now. Again, some of it, or I assume a lot of it's like on their own time. I would hope that these guys aren't like taking these interviews and talking to other teams.
Well, like you said,
while
you
at
think
team
the Packers,
facilities.
you think any team would allow that to happen in their building? No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like to say that 100% it isn't happening, we don't know that. But to eliminate that possibility of the distraction of the
Well, if they do, that's their own fault then.
well, not necessarily, because if the organization's like we like no interviews, yada yada yada, they could go behind the team's back and still go do interviews. You know what I mean?
Right, but
It-
they're not doing it on they're doing it on their own free will at that point.
Yeah, but I'm just saying to like eliminate all the question marks and distractions as a whole. Wait till February 14th. Like it takes all the question marks, all the speculation out of it. I mean, if you want to interview people, like this is just a couple names that are still in the playoffs. There's dozens of guys who are either not in the NFL, they're or like used to be but not anymore. Guys who are in college or guys who are on other teams that are already eliminated. Go for it. Talk to those guys. But it's like these guys, let them finish their season, let them finish their 2 weeks, 2 weeks notice kind of thing. I don't know. I'm just like I see both sides of the coin, but like I said, like I lean more towards the speculative side because I don't know. If it were me, I wouldn't want to be bothered.
You wouldn't want that to happen, but also at the same time, why would you want ill will on somebody that is in your building that's going to move on to bigger and better things?
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm getting at. Like who are you to say that the place down the road isn't going to offer you so much money that it could change your fucking generational wealth for your family, and you can do so many, like everybody who can put themselves in a better position is always in the win column for myself.
Yeah.
And like I said, as long as you're not doing it inside the building, obviously nobody knows we're not there, but I highly would doubt that, because I'm sure all those phone calls are recorded that are in the building and all that stuff as far as Spygate and all that stuff. Like all that shit's on lock. So I don't think that would happen. So they're doing this on their own free will. And I feel like it's their choice, And then on to my question here. If Aaron Rodgers wins a Super Bowl this season, do you think that he enters the conversation of top 5 quarterbacks all time?
I think without a Super Bowl win, I would put Rodgers in the top 5 of all time. Again, people take it from two different approaches of Super Bowl win, like, oh, but Super Bowl wins. No, he's not a top 5.
Just regular season stats and his postseason stats vary tremendously.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, as far as, I mean, when you have a top 5 conversation, top 10 conversation with anybody for quarterbacks, teams, basketball players, anything, like understanding where you're coming, because some people are like, oh, it's Tom Brady's the greatest of all, like the number one of all time, and then a lot of people say 7 Super Bowls, and that's their only argument.
Passing yards, touchdowns,
Well, yeah,
there's so much to back that
I'm just saying, from a Super Bowl perspective, Rodgers is not a top 5 quarterback. So I'm just saying that's not where I'm coming in from it. Coming in from a skill level, like playing the position at the highest level, I would say win Super Bowl or not this year, Rodgers is a top 5 quarterback.
Just the player of the position, no accolades tied to it at all. Just the player position.
Yeah, no, all pros, MVPs, Super Bowls, take all that out of the equation. He's a top 5 quarterback of all time, just for his IQ, decision making, understanding the game, being able to elevate players around him. He's only had a couple first round guys to throw to in his life. Mercedes Lewis is the longest tenured guy that they've had, who's a first round pick that he's thrown touchdown passes to. To be able to do what he's done with the people that he's had, I mean, top 5, no question. Top 3, I'd even entertain.
I personally feel like he needs another Super Bowl. Obviously, from taking all the accolades and the numbers part away from it, yeah, you could put him 1, if not 2, on that conversation, 3, just like you said. But we do live in a world that is generated by numbers, by all of that, by all the accolades, and that is a part of the discussion. So I feel like with his 4th MVP that he just won, I feel like he's going to need another Super Bowl to get across the mountain, because right now I feel like he needs to have another great postseason and win the Super Bowl. For how good he is in the regular season, greatest regular season quarterback to ever play the game, no questions asked. Once he gets into the playoffs, numbers are way different. Way different. When the pressure's on, he doesn't play the same. When it's regular season and it's a high pressure game, he does, but in the postseason, numbers just haven't looked the same. And obviously, I love Rodgers as a guy, and I didn't even think I'd be making the case for him not to be in the top 5 without this, or even the top 10 as far as all-time quarterbacks. But I really feel like he does need to get one more done, just so he can put himself into the guaranteed top 5, non-arguable discussion.
Yeah. But obviously every team's aspirations at the beginning of the season, whether you're the Packers or the Dolphins or the Jags or the Texans, if your team isn't thinking Super Bowl, then why are you stepping on the field? Like, that should be everybody's mindset week 1. But like you said, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in the regular season. And that's 75-80% of these guys' careers is that that frame of the regular season. So I mean, if you're great in for 75%, 80% of your career, as far as that window, like, yeah, the other 25% has more eyes on it, more weight because it's the postseason, it's the Super Bowl. But at the same time,
But you don't just play to make the playoffs.
No, but I don't know. I mean, look at Matthew Stafford. He's considered not a greatest of all time or anything like that, or probably
after his first playoff win, 10. It helps move him up the conversation, though.
Yeah,
getting a playoff win. Now, if he can get a second one, every one that you get moves you further and further up those charts when you have numbers like they have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like for Matthew Stafford, the team he was on for how many years, nobody really talked about him. And now all of a sudden, because of the team he's on, people are giving him the respect that he's deserved all these years. So it's like
you got to earn your respect.
It all depends. Yeah, it all depends on what team you're on and who you're with. But it's like at the same time, like he went to an easier team with better weapons and a better defense. Like, yeah, he's earning more respect, but at the same time, shouldn't he lose respect because he had to go to a better team to win more? You know what I mean? Like, he took the easy way out. The hard way would have been to build the Lions from the ground up and stick with them. And
well, he went there, and then once he was there, they added Von Miller and they added OBJ. So those two weren't even on the team when he got there.
Yeah, but I mean, top to bottom roster, 1 through 4 spot, the Rams are a better team tenfold than the Detroit Lions, is what I'm saying. So you go to an easier team, yeah, you're going to see more success, and people are like, oh, he was this good all this time, yada, yada, yada. It's like, yeah, no shit. People just weren't going to give him the respect until they went to a good team. Like, it's just sad that there's guys who have good, like OBJ going from the Browns to the Rams. People are like, he's washed up, he's not good. He goes to the Rams. Oh, he's really good. It's like it's sad that people have to go to a good team
to get the respect
they deserve. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying in general. Like, look, people who have played on shit teams, they don't get respect until they go to a good team. Like
until you get a win in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Like, you could have an amazing regular season. It's the same old fucking guy. But if you get a playoff win, you prove to everybody that you're worthy. You are that good.
Yeah. But at the same time, again, there's in total 21 other guys that put an effort in on the field, offense and defense. So, like, only 3% of it's in your hands every game.
Well, being the quarterback, 33% of the game's in your hands.
I'm just saying, as an individual, you only make up a couple percent of each play.
Well, if you touch the ball every single play, you have an impact on every single play on the offense. Which
I know. I'm just saying, you remove your, like, it takes 11 guys to make a play go right. That's what I'm saying. I don't care how many times you touch the ball. You can never touch the ball. If you play with 10 guys on the field, you're going to get your ass kicked. So adding or removing that one person makes a big difference, is what I'm saying. Everybody has a big, like, you only have a couple percent of how you fit into the equation, but you take that couple percent out, you're hurting yourself big time. Quarterback, left tackle, guard, receiver, doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. Like, it's, again, with Rodgers, like I said, I don't think he needs another Super Bowl. But I know people are going to say, oh, if he never wins another Super Bowl, people are going to hold him out of that conversation for that reason. And hats off to them. That's their own opinion. There's 7 billion people on this earth. If we're all going to have the same opinion, like, then what's the point? But that's just where I stand as far as him. I think he's a top 5 no matter what.
And that is the end of our NFL segment. Tune to the next video for the NBA.